Hey guys, it's me, the Bear Quilter, and today we're going to be making some reusable coffee filters. Join me in my sewing room. Okay, what you're going to need for today's project is some unbleached cotton muslin and a cone filter. I use a number 4 cone filter. If you have a number 4 paper filter or a number 2 paper filter, those are going to work really, really well for this. This is a template that I've made out of a paper filter. So you just trace around it and some cotton thread. You want to make sure that you're using cotton thread and not poly thread or cotton wrapped poly thread. So for my muslin, I've cut about a 6.5 inch wide strip of fabric off, and I'm just going to unfold it, and then I'm going to fold one little corner over here and take my coffee filter. And your coffee filter, if you're using a paper filter, will have a fold along the side and bottom. We're going to use that fold and put it right against the fold of this fabric that I've just cut off. And again, this is about a 6.5 inch strip of fabric. And you can either trace this with a pencil, but I'm just going to take my rotary cutter and cut it. And I'm not being very precise on this because it's not really going to matter much whether or not it's a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. We just want to make sure that it is roughly the same size. There we go. And so when you open it up, you should have a shape that looks something like that. We're going to take this over to the ironing board, and I am going to iron this top edge over just a little bit. So here we are at the ironing board. I'm just giving this a really, really fast little press. This is something that you probably don't want to put starch or best press onto when you're doing it, just because there are chemicals in those. So a little bit of water or steam is not going to harm it, but I wouldn't use any sizings or starches for this project. And I'm just pressing this over, you know, a 1/4 of an inch or so. And again, I'm not being really precise about that, because it's okay if it's a little bit off or a little bit different. Okay, so here at my machine with my cotton thread, I'm just going to do a really quick straight stitch around the top seam there. If you have a serger, again, like, you could do the serger instead of pressing over, and that would work really, really well. But I'm just going to I did that seam, and I'm just going to do a really quick straight stitch around that top. And then once that is done, I'm going to flip this over so that the seam that I just sewed is along that top edge facing out. And I'm going to switch my stitch to a zigzag stitch, and I'm going to drop my seam length to about 1.5 or so millimeters. And I am going to give my width at about 4.5 or so, 4.5 millimeters. And the goal here is I want to kind of stitch really close to the edge or off the edge of that. And that is fine. I'm going to do a reverse stitch and then go all the way down to the end. And then once I get to that kind of edge there, I will pivot. And then once I'm at the end again, I will do a little reverse stitch to lock it all in place. All right, so I am going to cut my extra threads off here, and then I'm going to take this up to the kitchen, and All of the ones that I've made are going to go into a pot with some boiling water for about 15 minutes or so. And we're just going to wash off any chemicals that might be in the fabric and then let them hang dry on my dish rack, and then they're ready to use. They pop right into your coffee maker just like any other paper filter. And then I use them for a few months at a time. I make 6 or 7 of them. I use them all for 3 or 4 months, and then toss them out and bring in new ones. They are machine washable. If you want, you can throw them right into your laundry with your other kitchen laundry, or I just wash them in my sink. So every time I use them, I put the coffee grounds out into the garden, and I use the filters, or I put the filters into my sink when I wash my dishes, and I wash them that way, rinse them really good, and let them dry in the dish rack. All right, I hope you found this helpful. If there's anything else that you want to see, or any other kind of household hacks that you can think of, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and we will make those up. All right, thanks guys. Have a good day. Mwah.